You have to know because I want to be tight. Ủa đào vào quên đào. My face looks like for once.
Ugly.
Okay. No one can see me. Don't no one can see me. Don't miss it. I am late. What? Hey guys, if y'all find me, I will give you the money. Give me 50 seconds.
Hi, I'm Michael Zavala, here with Backwoods Barbecue. Born and raised over in Mason, Texas, but we've moved over here to start this business. We had our kids participate in stock show. They started off with pigs, went into steers. The show in Mason as a whole, I think, is wonderful. It's a great experience for the kids. Teaches them a lot of basic skills, in my opinion, of learning to take care of things and, feed, water every day. It's twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, whatever's required. But, I feel like it puts something that's missing in a lot of our kids nowadays, a responsibility that they're, something that to be responsible for, and it teaches them something as they become adults of caring for things. We love supporting because the Mason County Stock Show was wonderful to our kids. And so our way of giving back is we donate, either a meal or whatever. We try to help in any way we can because I think it's a great thing for kids to be a part of growing up. And, it helps them out educationally wise. We hope that they can at least get something out that they can move forward with.
We're ready. Hey guys, and welcome to the 99th annual Mason County Stock Show and Rodeo. So we're excited to have everybody today, and we are about to do our heifers and our steers this afternoon. We did our hogs this morning. Sorry we didn't have this on the as far as you having to put up with me and Mr. Will's faces here. But we will be working with you the rest of this afternoon, kind of bringing you some details and maybe interviewing some of these cute kids. I've got Mr. Will Ince with me, class of
26.
Fighting Texas Aggie, class of 26. And then you got Brandon Willis with Texas Farm Bureau Insurance. We don't have any kiddos in the programs this year, so we're just here to help kind of tell y'all what's going on and what's coming up. Will, can you tell us a little bit about what's coming on this afternoon?
Well, yes, sir. So coming up soon here, we have the start of our cattle show. We have heifers coming up first, and we'll have our steers coming after that. Tomorrow is when all of the quote-unquote little animals start to show. We have the sheep show that starts at 11 tomorrow, so y'all get up here not quite as early as today, but y'all come up here and come and watch. We'll have sheep showmen right after that, and goats, and then goat showmen right after that. And if you are going to stay around just a little bit longer, we have our fastest torch competition. It's very exciting to watch that every year, so we'll see who the big competitors are this year.
That's it. And so what we want to tell everybody is we really appreciate y'all watching online. We hope that we can get as many of y'all up here as we can. So this is kind of a Band-Aid for you guys that are at work today, but don't make this the excuse. We want to have you here in this ring so these kids know how many people are out there supporting them. Also, we might hit up some of our sponsors if you'll cruise over one there. There you go. So we've got some buckle sponsors today.
Yes, we do. So today we had our swine show. So our Grand Champion Market Swine Buckle is sponsored by Hill Country Veterinary Hospital and Mr. Dave Rosberg and Dr. Dave Rosberg and Dr. Andy Rosberg. Our Grand Champion Market Swine banner was donated by Longhorn Storage, and Colin and David Evans and Lisa and Jim Roy Atchison. I can't pronounce names, I'm sorry. And then our Reserve Grand Champion Market Swine Buckle was donated by Jody and Sandy Osborne. So I think we're about to get up and get rolling pretty soon here.
Listen to the judge and see what he's got to say.
Absolutely.
Whatever it is you wrangle,
Yeah, I know. And I don't know how much.
whatever.
Judging team coach. Had lots of experience, worked all over the countryside in judging stock shows. She came up through a stock showing family. Her daddy's an ag teacher and her uncle was an ag teacher. I worked with both of them, so I think they brought her up right. But we're glad to have you here with us, Katie. Appreciate you working with us today. Thank you. We'll start our show today with our heifer show and our first class of British heifers. We have two animals exhibited in this class. Jarrett Worrell is exhibiting one heifer, and Quinn Davidson has a heifer also in this class. Today in our livestock show and cattle show, we have four gentlemen working with our judge out in the ring. We've got Josh Brooks, Cody Autry, Jared Whitworth, Mark Terrell.
very excited to be back with y'all again this afternoon. It was a really high quality hog show this morning, and a lot of quality all the way through, which I think just speaks wonder to what y'all are doing here in Mason County. And I'm really excited to go ahead and sort through your heifer and steer show this afternoon. And I'm going to leave them how they came in right here. So, young man, you'll be first. And I think a really nice place to go ahead and start our heifer show off. Study that one at the surface, and that's where I think she's really nice. Good in terms of her hoof shape, really laid back in her shoulder angle, comfortable in her knee. I love the set and flex that she has to her hip and hind leg. It's so much utility, but it's still attractive, and I think that makes her incredibly high quality in those regards. Really cowy middle today, one that maybe just relative, to maybe not contemporaries, but relative to just a few others that we've seen down the road. It could just be a nickel better in terms of her head and in terms of her throat, but I think that's pretty picky on one with that kind of doability, with that kind of cow power built into that one in the long term. Young man that's going to go ahead and be second, I think one that obviously there's a little bit of an age gap between the pair, and I think she just needs a little more time to mature and kind of belly down. I think one that's long and level in terms of her top line and out of her hip. If I'm being picky on her, I'd just like to maybe lay her back in terms of her angles ever so slightly so she could go with the same type of flexibility as my winner. Two really nice heifers, though. Let's give them both a round of applause.
Thank you, Judge Kemping. Results in our first class of British heifers. Second place exhibited by Quinn Davidson. Class winner exhibited by Jarrett Worrell. Exhibitor, my second class, Jarrett Worrell, has two heifers in this class, and he will be assisted in exhibiting both of these heifers, British heifers.
Two very nice heifers in their own regard, but the young man's heifer here in the back for me wins pretty handily, and I think that's because not only is she huge in terms of her foot size, massive rib, but she balances up so well from the side. With all that extra power, with all that extra foot size and bone, she still is very feminine and maternal in terms of how she ties her muscle system on her, and I appreciate those things. One that I think reads really, really good from a cow perspective as well. I think a nice heifer to go ahead and win this particular class. Not taking anything away from this heifer. I like how she's kind of longer and more extended through her front end. I like how that's a big pin kind of female who still reads really, really good in terms of her basic build. For me, if you kind of study that one and relative to kind of her condition that's out here, I think she could be a nickel better right there in terms of her heart and her full rib. Just maybe isn't as naturally soft or bold in her rib cage as the heifer that's going to go ahead and win, but a very nice individual in her regard. Let's give both these kiddos a round of applause.
seeds you sow. No matter what you nurture
In this class of heifers, both
or
of them
what you
exhibited
choose to
both
grow,
their Orel
at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all
in the
Texans.
class, and the April heifer, and then the May heifer was second in the class. While we're waiting for this third class of British heifers to come in the ring, I'd like to recognize some people that have assisted us with our 2024 Junior Livestock Show, and that's recognizing those buckle and banner donors. Our Grand Champion Market Steer buckles donated by Junior and Gigi Duarte. The Grand Champion Market Steer banner is donated by Oriel Enterprises. The Reserve Grand Champion Market Steer buckle is donated by Austin and Sierra Nauman. The Reserve Grand Champion Market Steer banner is donated by Bert and Gay Nessaloni. The Grand Champion Breeding Heifer buckle was donated by James and Diane Esquell. The Grand Champion Breeding Heifer banner was donated by Ince Enterprises. The Reserve Grand Champion Breeding Heifer buckle was donated by 34 Garage, and the Reserve Grand Champion Breeding Heifer banner was donated by the Martin family. If you see these folks, tell them we appreciate their contributions to the stock show. In this, our third class of British heifers, our exhibitors are Laura Jordan, Wyatt Davidson, and Gil Davidson.
a really nice class, 3 individuals, and the young man I'm going to elect to use to win here in the middle, to me, has got the best cow prospect in the making. You know, if you study that one in terms of her foot size, in terms of how she utilizes her hip and hind leg, she remains collected in terms of her spine and motion. You know, that one remains really collective in terms of her spine and motion. One that, to me, you know, just reads the best in terms of her body and build collectively. You know, we like to freshen her up just a nickel in terms of her chest there, maybe give her a notch more extension up front, sure. But for me, I think one that just in terms of body and build, those things the best. Young man that's going to be second, you know, we love that kind of extra shot of length and extension she's working with up front, really needing the set to her hip and hind leg. Has some really unique things, you know, that has a lot of breeding potential for that young man. Today, if you just study her in terms of her shoulder angle, I'd like to smoothen her up at the point of it, maybe give her a notch more lower belly to kind of match her extra shot, you know, frame relative to the one that wins. One that I like, though, in terms of being neat-necked, really attractive in her hip and hind leg. Young lady's red heifer that she go ahead and took out, you know, one that's huge in terms of her center body, really cowy in those regards. To me, just needed to be fixed structurally. Lay her back in terms of her shoulder ever so slightly. Give her a shot better, a deeper heel that so she can take a longer and more athletic stride in motion, but one that certainly reads stretchy and big rib, no less. Let's give all 3 of these kids a round of applause. They're doing a good job.
Placings in the third class of British heifers. Third place is awarded to Laura Jordan. Second place, Wyatt Davidson. And class winner, Gil Davidson. Coming into the ring now are our class winners to show for our champion British heifer. Exhibitors are Jarrett Worrell with the first class heifer. Jarrett also has the heifer that won the second class. And then Gil Davidson is exhibiting the heifer that won class 3.
You know, proud to say all 3 of our class winners that came back out here all represent good cattle first and foremost. And secondly, you know, they have some really unique pieces, you know, maybe for the show ring that excelled them to the top of their particular class. And then it's evident out here when they get out here that they're all awesome-bodied, really sound-structured cattle that are going to go out and function past being a show heifer and most importantly, being a cow. And so I thought all 3 of these cattle were really good in those particular instances. I thought there's one in particular and 2 that out here that kind of set themselves to the top of the class. class. So I'll go out and congratulate which two I like the best. Well, let's give them all a round of applause.
Jarrett Warrell exhibits the champion British heifer. Jarrett Warrell also exhibited the reserve champion British heifer.
Hi, I'm Michael Zavala, here with Backwoods Barbecue. Born and raised over in Mason, Texas, but we've moved over here to start this business. We had our kids participate in stock show. They started off with pigs, went into steers. The show in Mason as a whole, I think, is wonderful. It's a great experience for the kids. Teaches them a lot of basic skills, in my opinion, of learning to take care of things and, feed, water, every day. It's twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, whatever is required. But I feel like it puts something that's missing in a lot of our kids nowadays, a responsibility that they're something that to be responsible for, and it teaches them something as they become adults of caring for things. We love supporting because the Mason County Stock Show was wonderful to our kids, and so our way of giving back is we donate either a meal or whatever. We try to help in any way we can, because I think it's a great thing for kids to be a part of growing up, and it helps them out educationally wise. We hope that they can at least get something out that they can move forward with. Hi, I'm Michael Zavala, here with Backwoods Barbecue. Born and raised over in Mason, Texas.
You know, I think two heifers that could certainly be corrected structurally, a nickel for me. However, I'm going to elect to use the young lady's black heifer's extra shot of look and kind of presence from the side. You know, one that I love in terms of her head shape and how she ties her neck out of the top side of her shoulder. That's one's really long and level on her top line, level out of her hip, bold in the upper portions of that one's rib cage. You know, like I kind of briefly mentioned, I'd sure like to lay her back in her shoulder ever so slightly, give her a notch more flexibility at the surface, maybe benefit from a nickel bigger of a hoof shape and foot size. But, you know, one that from the side I think balances up just a touch better than the red heifer that's going to be second. Red heifer that's second, one that I like the extra shot of stretch and grow she's got. She's deep and soft in terms of her rib cage. Her too could be fixed structurally though. Lay her back in her shoulder, give her a notch more flexibility in terms of her hock. And then I just like to kind of freshen her up in terms of her front end as well. But two nice heifers. Let's give them both a round of applause.
In our placings in this first class of exotic heifer calves, second place is awarded to Laura Jordan, and first place class winner is exhibited by Lynn Limburg. Couple of things I've been asked to remind you of. Don't forget the concession stand over here. And the thing we talk about is our next 2 days in here. Tomorrow morning, the sheep need to arrive and weigh in at between 8:30 and 9 a.m. The goats arrive and weigh in between 9 and 9:30. The sheep show will begin at 11 a.m., immediately followed with sheep showmanship. Then the goat show begins, following the sheep showmanship with goat showmanship after the goat show. And then 30 minutes after the conclusion of the goat showmanship, we will have the fastest torch contest. On Friday morning at 8 a.m., we have a food and nutrition interviews. At 9 o'clock, the ag mechanic show begins. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and here in the building, we'll have the buyer's reception. The general store is open at 4 o'clock, and then the premium sale begins at 6 p.m. That's on Friday. Your heifer exhibitors in this exotic heifer class are Torin Tenney, exhibiting a heifer with a birth age of 9/9/2021, and Kinley Atchison with a birth date of 6/1/2022.
I think a real nice Charolais heifer to go ahead and win this particular class. If you talk about moderation, you talk about rib shape, you talk about just structure and build, I think she excels to the top of the class. You know, one that I love in terms of being laid back and smooth about the point of her shoulder. She's comfortable in her knee and comes with a really attractive set to her hip and hind leg. And I think that's where she's specifically better than Young Lady's Black Heifer that's going to be second. I think a nice place to start. Young Lady's Black Heifer, one that's, you know, huge in terms of the upper portions of her rib cage, really big in terms of her pin set. They got her hair going this morning and got her cleaned up real nice for the show. You know, just study that one in motion and maybe got to lay her back in terms of her shoulder and knee. For me, just make her a nickel more comfortable in how she goes. And then relative to kind of where they are in their stage of life, I'd sure like to see her still a nickel deeper and softer back into her flank. But I think two nice heifers. Let's give them both a round of applause.
Second place heifer in this class exhibited by Kinley Atchison. Excuse me, Torin Tenney. First place in this class exhibited by Kinley Atchison. Heifers coming into the ring now are your two heifers that won their classes. We have Lynn Limburg with her exotic heifer and Kinsley Atchison exhibiting her exotic heifer.
Two very different class winners, but both I think represent some quality and intention behind bringing them here today and breeding them down the road. There's one in my mind though that's just more my speed in terms of build and in terms of cowiness. That's going to be a young lady out of the second class. She'll be your champion. We'll follow her up with the young lady's black heifer for reserve.
Champion exotic heifer exhibited by Kinsley Atchison, and the reserve champion exotic exhibited by Torrentini. Been corrected again, the reserve was exhibited by Lynn Lamberg.
Not a tremendous amount of numbers here in your heifer show, but man, a lot of quality all the way through. And I think these are type of heifers that can go on and be successful, not just here, but down the road at other shows. And then, ultimately going and breeding on them and being successful, game changers for these kids' operations. And so that's what, I think is truly important. At the end of the day, I always say that, I'm just one woman's opinion judging a heifer show. And what really matters is that you like them, you take them back, breed them how you want them, and then ultimately try to make something better in the next generation. And so that's what I truly believe. I had many times where the heifer that I had that would win a show would be maybe my worst cow, and then heifers that would stand towards the bottom end that, made heck of cows down the road and made me, lots of money and lots of success. And so that's what I encourage you to do, is just try to make the next generation better every time. And I think that these two particular females are going to do, and even others that we saw today are going to do a great job at doing that. And so I'll go out and congratulate which two I like the best, but let's give all the kiddos in the heifer show a round of applause.
Your grand champion heifer exhibited by Jarrett Worrell. And the reserve grand champion exhibited by Kinsley Atchison.
Howdy and welcome back to the 99th annual Mason County Stock Show. We just finished with our heifer show, and I figured we list off some of the champions and the reserve champions for you. In the British, we had Mr. Jarrett Worrell with both the champion and reserve champion British heifer. And we just finished up with our exotics. Miss Kinsley Atchison got our champion, and reserve champion exotic was exhibited by Lynn Ray Jordan, or Lynn Ray Lamberg. And then we did our grand champion heifer and reserve grand champion heifer. Grand champion was exhibited by Jarrett Worrell, and Kinsley exhibited our reserve grand champion heifer. So had a fantastic heifer show.
Working with kids this year, and also recognize our agriculture science teacher, Jeremy Schindler. The members of our Mason County Livestock Show Committee, the President, Cody Hatfield, Vice President, Glenn Martin, Secretary Treasurer, Christy Lemberg, Board members, Colin Osborne, Jared Whitworth, Shannon Worrell, Dave Ince, Josh Brooks, and Cody Eckert. We sure do thank these folks for giving their time and effort to serve these youngsters for the stock show.
All right, guys, while we were waiting on the show, we were going to go over our quick buckle sponsors. So we've got our Open Grand Champion Market Steer buckle donated by Junior and Gigi Duarte. Our Grand Champion Market Steer banner by War Enterprises. We've got our Reserve Grand Champion Market Steer buckle by Austin and Sierra Newman. Reserve Grand Champion Market Steer banner by Bert and Gay Nesloni. We also have our Grand Champion Heifer belt buckle by James and Diane Esquell. We have Grand Champion Breeding Heifer banner by Ince Enterprises. Thank you, guys. Our Reserve Grand Champion Breeding Heifer buckle by 34 Garage. And then our Reserve Grand Champion Breeding Heifer buckle by the Martin family. We really appreciate you guys supporting these kiddos and showing up for our stock show. Again, we wanted to go in while we've got a second on what we've got coming up. So tomorrow we're having the kids come in early for sheep and goats arrival and weigh-in. After that, we'd love to see you guys here at 11 o'clock a.m. for the sheep show. After the sheep show, we'll roll straight into goats and straight into showmanship for after each kind of class. So if y'all can come out and support us, we'd love to have you. We've got some good barbecue. I know they've got breakfast tacos, and they'd love to have as many people here helping support these kids. We need to fill these stands and make sure these babies knows that they're appreciated.
This afternoon, beginning our steer show, our first class of American steers. We have 3 animals in this class. O'Brien Underwood exhibiting a steer weighing 1,000 pounds. Delray Osborne with a steer weighing 1,015 pounds. And Kinsley Atchison with a steer weighing 1,350 pounds.
Three very different steers that I think are, not only just as different stages in terms of where they're at, and I'm sure have different endpoints going down the road. I think a lot of trade-offs and can be sorted a few different ways, but I like to use the young lady's red steer. I think in terms of basic build and kind of presentation and that guy's look is what I like the best. He proportions really well from the side. I mean, that is a really stout, big top steer who's still really big in terms of his pin set. I like that he's laid back in terms of his shoulder and knee, and I think he has more flex and reach out of his front skeleton because of that. I think he has an attractive set to his hip and hind leg. It's probably what I like a nickel better than both the steers behind him, but one that I think really balances up well from the side. I think this young lady's steer in second, though, is very interesting. That is a really long-necked, really shapely, big hipped kind of steer who I think definitely could be someone's kind of type and kind. For me, he needs to be built just a nickel bit better for my preference. Needs to be laid back in terms of his shoulder ever so slightly, and then get him in motion and circle him the second time. He wants to pressure kind of the outside of his hoof wall there, just like to square him up in those regards, maybe level him up in terms of his hip, but in terms of raw shape, in terms of expression, in terms of extension, I think that guy is really good in those regards. Young lady is going to be third today, one that doesn't lack power, doesn't lack shape, one that I think probably handles really fresh in terms of that guy's last couple as he starts to kind of get into the right bracket of weight and maturity. For me, though, he just needs to be freshened up in terms of his chest ever so slightly, kind of get off to the side of him. You'd just like to make him deeper right there in his flank to kind of just allow him to balance up the same as the two ahead of him. Let's give all three of those girls a round of applause, though. They were doing a nice job.
Thank you, Judge Kemping. Places in our first class of steers in our American class. Third place exhibited by Kinsley Atchison. Second place exhibited by Delray Osborne. Class winner exhibited by O'Brien Underwood. The animals that we had, our three American steers, will also have our special placing as our champion American. It will be was exhibited by O'Brien Underwood, and the reserve champion American by Delray Osborne. Our next class of steers coming into the ring is our first class of British steers. We have three classes today on our British steers. Exhibitors Camille Walker has two animals in this class, one weighing 756 pounds, the other one weighing 1,055 pounds. O'Brien Underwood, also exhibiting a steer in this class, weighs in at 1,100 pounds.
class winning steer, I think they always say Angus cattle are kind of hard to classify, and that probably will be one of his biggest, barriers going down the road. But man, if he gets in, I think he's got the right kind of pieces because he's huge in terms of his foot size, really good and attractive in how that guy's put together from the side. They get him dialed in, whether it be for whatever show they're going to. I think that guy's got plenty of punch to kind of play as well. One that I think is just so proportional in how she gets him kind of set up and posed from the side. Specifically, maybe if we're getting picky on him when he gets him out in motion, doesn't just take the longest stride, probably attributed to the fact he gets a nickel shorter out of his hip. But man, plenty good in those regards, especially for a kind of heavyweight market steer. A young lady's got just a little guy out here today, but I think got loads of future in him. If we kind of study his kind of pieces, love that guy's head and neck and how he ties it out of the top side of his shoulder. He reads really bold in the upper portions of his rib cage and big out of his pin set, like he's going to be an awfully powerful one day down the road. Today he probably just forfeits a little much in terms of weight for me, and you kind of study him through his shoulder. I sure just like to smooth him up a nickel, but one that I think is going to have a lot of future for that young lady. Young lady, that concludes the class. You got a real big-footed steer who's really deep and soft in terms of his rib cage. I just think he needs to be redesigned in terms of his shoulder, smoother, and his hook up and laid back in his knee, and maybe relative to the two steers that precede him today, just stouting him up ever so slightly. But let's give all these kiddos a round of applause. They're doing a good job.
Thank you again, Judge Kipping. Placings in our first class of British steers. Third place owned by Camille Walker. Second place also owned by Camille Walker and exhibited by Camille Walker. First place class winner exhibited by O'Brien Underwood. Coming into the ring now is our second class of British steers. 3 animals in this class. First one exhibited by Jarrett Worrell, weighing in at 1,240 pounds. Another steer exhibited by Delaray Osborne, weighing in at 1,245 pounds. And Laney Johnson exhibiting a steer weighing in at 1,255 pounds.
I was taught by a very smart person one time, study them for what they are and not for what they're not. And I'll say the young man's black steer, he needs to be better in terms of his shoulder and knee. But man, that guy's massive. Not only just for Angus, but for regardless of breed that we're speaking now. That guy handles huge over his loin and right behind his shoulder. Man, if you get your hands on him, he's the smoothest in terms of his 12th and 13th. I think he's right on point for whatever may be his end point at this point in time. But I just like how massive he is, and I don't know if there's just a smooth upgrade in terms of shoulder for me to justify switching it. I like a lot of things about that guy, and I wish you the best of luck with him down the road. Young ladies, Hereford steer here in second, one that reads really big, long, and extended up front. I like those things about him. He's good in terms of balancing and dropping back deep and soft into his flank. Maybe relative, you kind of get your hands on him relative to what I expected. He could be a notch smoother right there through his last two. One that, again, I'd probably like to fix in terms of his shoulder and knee and just give him a shot more flexibility even right at the surface. That guy balances up really, really well from the side, and she's doing a heck of a job getting him stuck. Young lady, you got kind of ran into two awfully nice ones today. One that I think is practical in terms of his build, one that's long striding, really still extended when you kind of prop his head up there. For me, he just forfeits a nickel too much in terms of body, width, and dimension to kind of play with the other two. One that, like I mentioned, is long striding and extended, but just needs to have a shot more to him. Let's give them all a round of applause.
Third place animal in this class exhibited by Laney Johnson. Second place, red ribbon winner, exhibited by Delray Osborne. And first place, blue ribbon winner, exhibited by Jarrett Worrell. Two exhibitors in this class, we have Sophia Allsweed exhibiting a steer weighing 1,325 pounds, and Torrin Tenney exhibiting a steer weighing 1,335 pounds.
Not to state the obvious, but two really different types and kinds out here. Young lady that's going to go ahead and win, man, talk about awesome hair first and foremost, and you've done a great job of getting that guy fitted or kind of clipped up and shown out here, and so I commend you first and foremost on that. One that I love in terms of his like length and extension. That guy's look from the side. He obviously just grabs your attention initially because of his color and then how he's presented. But one that kind of maintains it because he reads really kind of attractive in terms of his hip and hind leg set standing still. For studying for me particularly, I think relative to his frame and size, I need to see him a nickel softer and more practical about his rib shape. You kind of get your hands on him, and I wasn't too surprised that he was a little bare still over his last couple. So work on that kind of going forward. But I think one that's got a lot of potential for that young lady. Like I said, I commend her in terms of his hair and how he's presented out here. Young lady that's going to be second, yours kind of is the opposite end of things. One that's really moderate, bold-ribbed, one that obviously his kind of rib cage is really aided to his feedability out here, and I appreciate those things. For me in particular, he probably almost takes that to an extreme because I kind of want to freshen him up and almost have an intermediary between the two, kind of freshen him up in terms of his chest. And then if you're getting behind him, I'd like to give him a notch more just through his lower stifle and how he maintains it at the surface, but actually get your hands on him, and I think he's got a good turn to his loin. So that's kind of how I see the pair. I think two nice ones. Let's give them a round of applause.
Placings in our final class of British steers. Second place is awarded to Torn Tenney. First place exhibitor won by Sophia Allsweet. Coming in the ring now are three steers that won their classes in the British breed class. Exhibitor of Class 2 winner was Jarrett Warrell. Class 1 winner, O'Brien Underwood. And the Class 3 winner was Sophia Allsweet.
I think probably one of the more competitive drives that we've seen throughout the entire day, just in terms of having some trade-offs. And maybe, for me, maybe not just a perfect one in here, but all three offer a lot of merit, and that's what makes it challenging. So, again, I commend the individuals who have them out here today. I'll go ahead and rediscuss them real quick. And the young lady out of the lightweight class, one we talked about, huge in terms of his foot size, laid back in terms of his shoulder and knee. I like those things about him. Relative to his contemporaries out here, he's unquestionably the best built option of the particular set. I like how he drops back deep and soft in his flank relative to kind of his maturity and size right now. All of those things allow him to still balance up well from the side. young man that comes out of our next class, one we talked about, huge in terms of power, width, and dimension. We like those things about him. Really big when you got your hands on him. Handles like a dream relative to everyone else out here. One that, you kind of talk about, we need to lay him back in his shoulder and knee ever so slightly, maybe fix him in those regards, but I think there's a lot of merit in that guy going down the road. Talked to the young lady briefly. She said her steer's going to Fort Worth, so, again, I commend her just to kind of get that kind of presentation, and haircut's tough, and keep the white. I understand how challenging that can be. One that we talked about, love his extension, length, levelness of hip, attractive set to his hind leg. Again, lay him back in his shoulder and knee, drop him in his flank to kind of balance him up. A nickel better from the side, but, I know he's not probably right on today, and he doesn't need to be right on today, but I think one that's going to have a lot of future for that young lady as well. Like I said, I think they're all three very high-quality individuals. I'll go and show you which two I like the best.
The winner of your British classes, O'Brien Underwood, and reserve champion goes to Jarrett Worrell.
Based in Mason, Texas, Jackrabbit Studios has been here for over a decade to help connect your business to the world. Whether you're starting a new business in need of logo design or have an existing business looking to expand in a challenging market, Jackrabbit Studios is here for you. From custom website design to real estate drone video and photography, even product photography for brochures and online sales, promotional videos for television and beyond, and social media marketing. Jackrabbit Studios is proud to help support our Mason Stock Show, providing exhibitor and sponsor videos, the Livestock Show website, and the annual Mason Stock Show live stream. We'll see you at the Mason Stock Show.
Enterprises, reserve grand champion breeding heifer buckle donated by 34 Garage, and reserve grand champion breeding heifer banner was donated by the Martin family.
Whatever it is you wrangle, whatever seeds you sow, no matter what you nurture or what you choose to grow, at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all Texans.
Pounds. McCall Tenney with a steer weighing 1,150 pounds, and Dakota Martin with a steer weighing 1,240 pounds.
A really good class, and I particularly think the young lady's kind of smoky paint that wins is very, very good. I mean, man, he's huge-footed. He's huge in terms of his hip and kind of his kind of dimension that it reads over his top. One that is certainly not lacking in terms of muscle, width, and dimension. You kind of get off to the side of him, and he's got a good set to his rear leg. Maybe at times when he's getting worked up out here, maybe gets a bit extra. But man, one that is just loaded with true carcass mare, and I like those things about him. The young lady's steer that's going to go ahead and be second. One I think balanced is up really nice from the side. I mean, that's a really long and extended steer ahead of his shoulder, laid back in the angle to it. He reads really big directly over his top and behind his shoulder. One that, is attractive in terms of the set and kind of utilization of his hock. So I like those things about him. Maybe just isn't as overwhelming in terms of foot size. This isn't as overwhelming in terms of pin width and power as my winner, but one that I still think has a lot of future and a lot of potential for that young lady going down the road. The next steer that comes in, one that's moderate, really soft-centered. It looks like an easy feeding type steer. For me, he's got to be fixed structurally. He gets a nickel more upright in terms of his pasture, and I don't know if maybe it's the surface out here today, but if you kind of study him in terms of his hoof shape, he wants to get longer in terms of his toes and shallower in terms of his heel. So maybe just fix those things on him, but one that I think is moderate, soft-bodied, and one that still reads and balances nice when she gets him set up. Young man's black steer that concludes the class, one that's long and extended up front, maybe got an extra shot of growth, longer and leveler in terms of his hip. For me, he's got to be redesigned structurally, laid back in terms of his shoulder and knee. And then if you kind of study him in terms of that guy's shape behind his shoulder, you sure like to give him a notch more punch to play. But let's give all these kiddos a round of applause. They are doing an awesome job. Good class.
Placings in this class of AOBs, fourth place exhibitor, Davis Johnson. Third place steer was exhibited by Laney Johnson. McCall Tenney exhibited the second place steer, and class winner was exhibited by Dakota Martin. In our last class of market steers today, in our heavyweight AOB class, we have 3 steers in this class. Dakota Martin, exhibiting a steer weighing 1,290 pounds. Madeline Williams, with a steer weighing 1,320 pounds. And Delray Osborne, with a steer weighing 1,400 pounds.
You know, to be honest, this gold steer right here is just kind of the one I've been waiting for. So I'm glad he came because, man, that guy does a lot of things right. He studied that one just in terms of his top side shape. Whew, he is powerful, man. Big top, really big pin. He's still wide skeleton, wide based, and still so attractive in how he plants his rear leg. I mean, that is one good rear leg on a steer. So I think I commend the young lady and wish her the best of luck because I think that's a very, very nice calf to go ahead and win. Young lady's black steer is going to be second. Man, one that's stretchy, long-necked, extended, really big in terms of his upper hip. I got to fix that guy right at the surface. You know, I think he needs just a little more flex and give. He kind of relative to his frame, maybe make him a notch better in terms of his forerib and heart. But I think one that they got fresh hair on, one that's big-topped and really stretchy. Young lady's white steer that's going to conclude the class. You know, I don't think that he lacks genuine shape or genuine power. You know, maybe for me, just needs to be redesigned in terms of his shoulder, kind of smooth him up in those regards, and then just drop him back a nickel deeper and softer in his flank so he could balance up the same as the couple others ahead of him. But I think still a nice project for that young lady. Let's give all 3 of them a round of applause.
Placings in our heavyweight AOB class. 3rd place is awarded to Madeline Williams. 2nd place, Delray Osborne. And the class winner is awarded to Dakota Martin. Showing for our champion AOB class, we have McCall Tinney with her steer that came out of the lightweight class of AOB steers, and Dakota Martin with the heavyweight class steer.
You know, I don't play poker because I don't have much of a poker face. So I apologize. I probably already alluded to which one I'm going to use to win today. I thought throughout the show and especially your exotic show, there's a lot of merit all the way through. So I congratulate all the individuals and even some that didn't make it back out here. But Young Ladies Gold Steer is going to be your champion. We can bring out that second for reserve consideration.
And completing our AOB class, the reserve champions exhibited by Delray Osborne and the champion AOB exhibited by Dakota Martin. Upon the completion of the picking of the grand champion and reserve grand champion steer, we also have a local award that we give. We give an award to the county bred champion steer or county bred champion animal, and that animal will, there will be two of those animals exhibited in that class. We're getting down to the short rows today. I think that we've had a great show. Those of you, if you appreciate the way Katie Kemping has worked with our young people today, let's give her a big hand. Thank you, Katie. I will have to say this, she's a better judge than her daddy is a golfer. We're now bringing our animals into the ring to judge for our grand champion steer of the 2024 Junior Livestock Show. Those exhibitors today are your champion American breed exhibited by O'Brien Underwood, your champion British steer also exhibited by O'Brien Underwood, your champion AOB steer exhibited by Dakota Martin.
You know, I consider myself incredibly lucky and blessed because for some people it takes their whole lifetime to discover what they're passionate about, but I was just born right into mine. And so, you know, that's why I tell people all the time is this is what I love to do. There's no other way that I'd rather spend, you know, a whole day, but sorting through your livestock and, you know, maybe even just having a small impact on the youth as well. And so I appreciate you guys having me out today. And I know we have another small show after this, but want to say that in advance. So I just appreciate you having me out today, listening to just some 23-year-old gal talk about livestock. So it's my passion, it's my dream, and I hope that I can inspire young people as well to have the same passions and dreams as me. As for the cattle, they've been really good. All in heifers that we saw earlier, the steers just maintain that kind of competitiveness. And, you know, I'd be really interested after this is all said and done to know just the amount of success, not only at this scale, but at a Texas major scale that these kiddos have, because I would say here in Mason County, it's probably pretty tremendous. Just seeing the type of quality that you guys have. And so that's my kudos to not just the kids, but the breeders, the parents, the ag teachers, whoever has a hand in these type of creatures' success down the road. And so that's just my 2 cents. I'm going to go and kind of give them one more look and congratulate the 2 that I like the best, but let's give them one more hand. They deserve it.
Grand Champion steer is awarded to Dakota Martin with her heavyweight AOB steer. Third grand goes to O'Brien Underwood. After we finish with the 2 county bred animals that'll be coming in next, don't forget that we do have the cattle showmanship, and we'll be working with that shortly. We will start with the juniors first, K through 3rd grade, intermediate, 4th through 8th, and then high school 9 through 12.
Moved over here to start this business. We had our kids participate in stock show. They started off with pigs, went into steers. The show in Mason as a whole, I think, is wonderful. It's a great experience for the kids. Teaches them a lot of basic skills, in my opinion, of learning to take care of things and, you know, feed, water every day. It's twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, whatever is required. But, you know, I feel like it puts something that's missing in a lot of our kids nowadays, a responsibility that they're, you know, something that to be responsible for, and it teaches them something as they become adults of caring for things. We love supporting because the Mason County Stock Show was wonderful to our kids. And so our way of
we have Jarrett Warhill, McCall Tenney, and Kinsley Atchison.
And I think something that's really unique to highlight what's going on right here in Mason County and kind of the type of breeding programs that are already occurring right, you know, in your home area. And so I think this is a really unique opportunity to get these cattle back out and examine them, you know, all in different breeds. So we had an American, a British, and an exotic, which I think is really unique too, to kind of show that type of diversity as well. I thought, you know, we kind of talked them all in class. I'm not going to bore you to death, but all 3 cattle I thought, you know, had merit in their particular breeds in their particular class and stood up against all the good ones as well. And so I think kudos again to the kiddos, kudos to the breeders in this particular area. You're doing a heck of a job. And so I'll go show you which one I like the best. Let's give them a round of applause.
champion county bred steer exhibited by Jarrett Warrell. I believe it was bred by the Warrell family. And again, thank you, Katie Kemple, for judging our show today.
This today. We appreciate the people that are here in the audience with us and the people that are listening at home and just sowing the support for these kids. We got day one of the 99th annual Mason County Stock Show in the books. Tomorrow, as a reminder, we are going to start checking in some kiddos early for sheep and goats sometime between around 7:30 or 8. We're going to have tacos. We'll have some things to do here in the morning if you want to come hang out. Then we're going to start the sheep and goat show tomorrow at 11 o'clock. They'll be back-to-back, so just come out and hang out with us all day tomorrow. Also, let's say tomorrow afternoon we've got the fastest torch competition after that, and that is going to be just about 30 minutes after the show. Everybody goes outside. We have some competition between the kiddos and the adults, and it's really exciting. And then Friday, make sure everyone comes, because at 8 o'clock in the morning we start early with the kiddos doing interviews, and we'd love to see everyone here around 9 o'clock a.m. to look at some ag mechanics. And then after that we've got the buyer's reception and the general store open for those kids at 4 o'clock at night. This is when we need everybody out to support from 4 o'clock that afternoon to showing these kids what we're doing for their projects and buying them. And then after that we'll have the auction. So that's where the rubber hits the road, where these kids get to show up and we get to show them how much we support them by paying for these projects. We look forward to having everybody out. Will's going to do some thank yous here for some of our sponsors.
Yes, awesome. So for today we had our swine and our cattle show. So we have a few thank yous for all of those awards for those two animals. We have our Grand Champion Market Steer buckle given by Junior and Gigi Duarte. We have our Grand Champion Market Steer banner from Worrell Enterprises. We have the Reserve Grand Champion Market Steer buckle from Austin and Sierra Newman. The Reserve Grand Champion Market Steer banner given by Bert and Gay Nesaloni. We have our Grand Champion Breeding Heifer buckle by James and Diane Esquel. And the Grand Champion Breeding Heifer banner from Ince Enterprises. And we have our Reserve Grand Champion Breeding Heifer buckle from 34 Garage, and a Reserve Grand Champion Breeding Heifer banner from the Martin family. So thank y'all for giving out for all these students and showing up.
Oh, real fast. Thank you, Stock Show Secrets, for all you do on the showmanship. We were blessed to have a really good showmanship judge this morning. We've got the same young lady here this afternoon, and she's going to be here with us throughout the week. Stock Show Secrets really steps up and helps sponsor all of these showmanship awards. So I think this is another thing too. It takes all the projects out, all the something that might have happened with an animal where they didn't raise just right. Takes it all out of the equation. So now we're going to start on our showmanship, where these kids get to truly show up and show you how hard they've been working throughout the year. This is where a kid can take any project and just really show them what they can do with it. We're looking forward to the Stock Show Secrets being with us throughout the week, and just thank you for that. Thanks, Kyle.
just about ready to begin our showmanship for our cattle show, and today it's my honor to introduce our judge for our showmanship for all of the species this year. Jenna Siegel Mateer is originally from Marion, Ohio. She was raised on an 80 sow show pig operation, and she and her family were nationally competitive through their operation, Al Grande Farms. It's La Grande Farms, excuse me. Siegel attended Lincoln Land Community College and Iowa State University, where she was on both livestock judging teams, including being named national champion in swine and swine reasons at the 2021 National Collegiate Contest in Louisville. Jenna now resides in Mansfield, Illinois, and works at Compeer Financial as a swine credit officer. She and her husband, Chance, run seed stock Hereford cattle and plan to build a sow herd in the near future. Let's give a welcome to Jenna, please.
All right, you guys, you set the bar high on the clapping, so you're going to have to keep it up all the way throughout the seniors. Awesome, awesome group out here. I know we've talked a little bit in my bio. My husband and I raise Herefords, so it brings me great joy to see all the little ones having a Hereford out here. Awesome job to all of you. Excuse me. Love to see your control, love to see your ability to work with your teammates, and certainly think all of you have a really bright future and are just doing an awesome job with your projects out here. Let's go ahead and talk about all of you guys. I know we've got you placed. I know the cattle have already been shown. They're ready to go lay down, so let's get to going. A young man here in front of me that's going to win. Absolutely love your determination and your eye contact. Doing such a good job of keeping your eyes on your heifer, making sure she's how you want her, and looking at me the whole time. Really intense when you're getting her around the ring. Do a great job of multitasking. I know it's tough when you've got a big project to take care of, and yourself, especially when maybe they're a little bigger than you, but you do such a great job. Most of the time you've got that heifer set up pretty good. Make sure you do a little check every now and then that she's got her legs set up right, but you do such a good job keeping her head up, keeping good control of her. Congratulations, buddy. You do an awesome job. Young lady that's second, I know your steer's pushing you around a little bit, but you do an awesome job. Love your control. Love that you're actually going ahead like some of the others with your halter with one hand. I know that's hard to do when you're young and small and maybe your project's a little bigger than you are. And even though he's pushing you around, you've got great control. You get him set up, absolutely awesome. Do a great job getting those feet and legs where they need to be, being efficient with your time. Again, no, maybe he's starting to push on you. You're not getting him lined up every single time the way you want him too. Make sure you keep working hard on that eye contact, all right? I know sometimes when you've got your project that you're focused on, it's hard to focus on me too. Keep working hard to do that, but man, you do a great job getting that steer looking the part. A young man that's going to be third with the big old heifer here on the end, you do a great job multitasking. You look at me, you look at your heifer. You check me, you check the heifer. You do a great job, and she's a little taller than you, so I know it's probably hard to do that. Do a great job coming around the front of her, moving around as I move. Maybe that heifer's pushing you a little much. Maybe try to work on getting her where you want her and you being the boss, but man, you do a great job as well. Congratulations to all three of those juniors. Give them a round of applause.
Placings in our junior division of the cattle showmanship. Third place is awarded to Wyatt Davidson. Second place, Camille Walker. And third place, Quinn Davidson. Congratulations, Quinn.
Whatever it is you wrangle, whatever seeds you sow, no matter what you nurture or what you choose to grow, at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all Texans.
a really, really good second group here, and I think that the depth of this group and your guys' talent and the way that you get these cattle stuck is just absolutely excellent. So great job to all of you. I know we can only have one that rises to the top, but man, you guys all do a great job, and know you've all got a really bright future. The young lady that's going to go ahead and win this division, you do just such a good job of getting the most out of that calf. Highly presented, and I know that we talk about that. I heard Katie talk about it here and there, and it matters. I mean, it does not determine placing by any stretch of the imagination, but knowing that you've put in that work at home certainly shows, and do a great job. Get that calf stuck, get him looking right, and you don't quit until he's right. I appreciate that. I know you had to circle him a few times. You get caught in a tough spot being in that corner, but really appreciate you taking the extra time to get him looking the part, get him where you want him, and then just hanging out. Do such a great job. Love your intensity. Love that eye contact. I know there's probably showmen out here that are younger, maybe older, that want to improve. I'd ask this young lady some tips because, man, she does a really good job. A young lady with the black calf that's second. Awesome job getting that steer stuck. He is a perfect partner. He does everything you want. I know he's panting and probably worn out, but you do such a great job getting those feet set. You're efficient. You're quick. You do such a good job moving around him. I know when you get him going, he's a little fast. He's maybe not quite as smooth. He maybe isn't the perfect speed when you get him going, and maybe fight you here and there, and he might be worn out. But man, you do a really good job. I love your style. I think you're an awesome showman. The young lady directly in front of me, that's third. You're so calm, cool, and collected. Love your composure. You do a really great job as I'm moving around, navigating and moving around the calf. He gets stretched here or there. Try to keep working on keeping those feet under him and getting him set up just right. But you do a really great job. Love the way you work with your partner. Think you certainly have a bright future. The young man with the Hereford. Again, we've got Herefords at home, so I know what it's like when you got a slow one. They're a little too docile, right? But she's a good partner for you. You do a great job with her. I know maybe she's starting to fight you a little, maybe isn't quite as good when you're in motion, and then when you get her set up, you do a really good job. Try to do one quick scan every now and then. She'll take a step here or there, maybe isn't set up quite perfectly, but you do a really great job, buddy. A young man that's in fifth here in front of me, I know your partner's kind of wiggling and moving around too. Do a really great job with your eye contact. When you're leading him around, don't be afraid to take a deep breath, okay? I know it's your partner's maybe not acting perfect. You're a little nervous. That's all right. Love your intensity. Love your effort. Try to keep that calf in line. I know you got caught in some bad spots here or there. Work on keeping those feet under him, but you do a great job. Love your eye contact. Think you've got a really bright future. Awesome job to all 5 of these kids. Give them a big round of applause.
Placings in our intermediate cattle showmanship. Fifth place goes to Davis Johnson. Fourth place exhibited by Gil Davidson. Third place awarded to Laney Johnson. Second place winner is Della Osborne. And the first place intermediate cattle showmanship winner, Sophia Allsweed.
Based in Mason, Texas, Jackrabbit Studios has been here for over a decade to help connect your business to the world. Whether you're starting a new business in need of logo design or have an existing business looking to expand in a challenging market, Jackrabbit Studios is here for you. From custom website design to real estate drone video and photography, even product photography for brochures and online sales, promotional videos for television and beyond, and social media marketing. Jackrabbit Studios is proud to help support our Mason Stock Show, providing exhibitor and sponsor videos, the Livestock Show website, and the annual Mason Stock Show live stream. We'll see you at the Mason Stock Show.
Really great job to all three of these young ladies. I know I had to get recalibrated there. It looks like we had a little sticky spot over here, so definitely don't think that's why you're second. We'll talk through the things I see, but great job to all three of you. Young lady that's going to start, you do such a great job getting the most out of that steer. I know you've had to start him over a few times, but you don't stop till he's right, and that's important. I think you do an awesome job working with him, not against him. Your eye contact, your intensity is great, and again, you make sure those feet are where you want them, and you're in charge there. The one thing I'll say that's a little nitpicky that was a pet peeve of mine when I was showing cattle, try to work hard to hold that halter with just your one hand. I think it's just a little distracting, but man, you do a really great job getting the most out of that steer. Certainly like your style, your intensity, your posture. You do a really great job. A young lady with the red calf that's going to be second. I know your partner's fighting you a little bit. He's maybe worn out, so no worries there. I totally understand that. Really great eye contact. Really like your attitude and your intensity. I think you're doing a really good job of being patient with him, even though you've had to start him over and try to go slow with him. You're maybe not quite as consistent and efficient getting him stuck real quick, and I know he's getting worn out and tired. Work hard to keep those feet under him, keep him where you want him, and make him look the part, but you do a really great job as well. Young lady that's third with the heifer here in front of me, love your composure. I like your technical skill, and by that, I know that sounds really fancy, but all that means is you do the basics really well. You get that calf set up quick, you get her set up the way you want her, you have great eye contact. Those things are really good. I wish you moved around her just a little bit better. Wish you were a little bit more intense and similar to some of the kids we talked about earlier. Every now and then she might get off a little and you need to do a once over of her. Just try to focus on me and the calf. But man, you do a really, really great job. Awesome job to all four of these young ladies. Give them a round of applause.
Placings in our senior cattle showmanship. Third place goes to Lynn Limberg. Second place awarded to Torrin Tinney. And first place winner of the senior showmanship division, O'Brien Underwood. Exhibitors coming in the ring now to be judged for champion cattle showmanship. Our junior winner, Quinn Davidson. Intermediate exhibitor, Sophia Allsweed. And senior exhibitor, O'Brien Underwood. Before she's had a chance to finish, let's give a hand to our showmanship judge, Judge Mateer. Thank you for coming and working with our youngsters today. We appreciate it very much.
Really great group out here. All three of the division winners do an awesome job. Give all three of them a big, big round of applause. They're doing an absolutely excellent job. And I know that we sent some back there today that I think also, could be out here. Maybe their partner wasn't perfect. Maybe made a mistake here or there. But, man, you guys do an absolutely excellent job. Love your guys' attitudes. Love everybody's posture. I think that it's easy in showmanship to get frustrated when maybe you don't place the way you want because it's about you. It's not about your calf. But, man, you guys are doing such a great job. Love that everybody's receptive to feedback. Certainly love everybody's attitudes and just really, really appreciate it. I've been fortunate to judge showmanship at many levels, and you don't always get that. So just know that you guys have awesome youth here in Mason County. Really appreciate it. Again, great group of three. I know the cattle are tired. I know the kids are tired, and I'm sure the parents are tired, so I won't take too much time here. Went ahead and talked through everybody here in the divisions. There's one that in my mind just gets the most out of that calf. And whether we're talking about hog showman, cattle showman, sheep showman, goat showman, the best ones are the ones that make the animals look their part. They're the ones that do all the basics extremely well and then get the most out of the animal. In my mind, those are the kids that you would want to give a calf that could go compete somewhere and they would make them look the part. Again, great job to all of you. Love your intensity. Love your drive. There's one that I just think is absolutely awesome. Young lady out of the middle division will be your champion. Congratulations to her.
Champion cattle showmanship this year goes to Sophia Allsweed. A quick reminder about tomorrow, the sheep need to arrive here at 8:30 for weigh-in. Goats are weighed in at 9. The sheep show begins at 11, followed by the sheep showmanship. The goat show follows that, followed by the goat showmanship. Then we have the fastest torch contest 30 minutes after. Then we have the food and nutrition interviews on Friday, the ag mechanics, bioreception, and the sale.
We're Kenny and Shirley from McLean Ford. We have been supporting kids in the community for over 30 years now. We've been blessed to be able to do that. We had children that were involved in different aspects as they grew up, and so we have truly made it a point that the funds that we're able to support with go to the kids.
Most all of our donations that we do are all towards youth. A few other aspects of youth, not just stock shows, but mainly that. We think that that area teaches kids a lot of good work ethic. They learn right from wrong, what works, what doesn't work, and so when they grow up, maybe they will take part of that with them. And we think that's very important. And if our funds can go a little ways to help ease the cost of some of that, then so be it. And that's a wonderful thing because, kids are everything to us. So we just think that's the best way to put it.
I was raised in San Saba and had a lot of friends from Mason growing up, being neighboring towns, and still a lot of friends that are grown up, and their children now are showing, and their children now are involved in several aspects. And so it's just, we just love Mason County. There's just something about the people that reminds us of home. And so it's become one of our points that we really try to support.
The people at Mason really make it easy to do our best that we can take care of those over there, because they come through, they're nice people, they're just so welcoming, they're warm, they're like us. They are like us. We want, you want to be with people that you know and trust and like, and that's those people. So we really love it over in Mason County.
And since we bought the store a little over 5 years ago, they've been very supportive of us.
They have.
Whatever it is you wrangle, whatever seeds you sow, no matter what you nurture or what you choose to grow, at Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, we're proud to protect all Texans.
Based in Mason, Texas, Jackrabbit Studios has been here for over a decade to help connect your business to the world. Whether you're starting a new business in need of logo design or have an existing business looking to expand in a challenging market, Jackrabbit Studios is here for you. From custom website design to real estate drone video and photography, even product photography for brochures and online sales, promotional videos for television and beyond, and social media marketing. Jackrabbit Studios is proud to help support our Mason Stock Show, providing exhibitor and sponsor videos, the Livestock Show website, and the annual Mason Stock Show live stream. We'll see you at the Mason Stock Show.
Give it back as we donate, either a meal or whatever. We try to help in any way we can because I think it's a great thing for kids to be a part of growing up. And, it helps them out educationally wise. We hope that they can at least get something out that they can move forward with. Hi, I'm Michael Zavala, here with Backwoods Barbecue. Born and raised over in Mason, Texas, but we've moved over here to start this business. We had our kids participate in stock show. They started off with pigs, went into steers. The show in Mason as a whole, I think, is wonderful. It's a great experience for the kids. Teaches them a lot of basic skills, in my opinion, of learning to take care of things and, feed, water, every day. It's twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, whatever's required. But, I feel like it puts something that's missing in a lot of our kids nowadays, a responsibility that they're, something that to be responsible for, and it teaches them something as they become adults of caring for things. We love supporting because the Mason County Stock Show was wonderful to our kids. And so our way of giving back is we donate, either a meal or whatever. We try to help in any way we can because I think it's a great thing for kids to be a part of growing up. And, it helps them out educationally wise. We hope that they can at least get something out that they can move forward with.